Well, it's 1 o'clock, and thank you very much for attending the seminar on schools in session, protecting your children when they are away at school. My name's Cameron White, and I am an attorney and the founder of Pathway Law here in Windermere, Florida. Now, uh, this is going to be a very, very basic seminar, and it's intended for parents and guardians of college students and other young adults who are living away from home. So we're going to emphasize that our goal here is not to create any kind of fear whatsoever, no fear mongering, but rather it's to help families prepare for an emergency when that occurs. So the preview that this presentation is going to cover will be medical, financial, and as well as school related authorizations. Now, if you have questions, you're welcome to put those in the chat box and we will address those questions at the end. So, when your child turns 18, yeah, the rules change. Before 18, parents generally coordinate all of the medical care, school communication, and family decisions because you're the parent. But after your child turns 18, they're now an adult in the eyes of the law. And the student or the young adult controls access to their own medical and educational information. That also includes their financial information. So before they're 18, the parent, even paying the bills, you're able to access all of that information, such as the medical care, the school communications, even bank accounts. But now that they're 18, does not give you the automatic right to make those medical decisions, to make the financial decisions, nothing of that sort. So, how do we fix that? Well, the child has to give you written authorization in order to make those, well, to give you access to their records, their information. Now, there are four areas that families should always prepare for. Those are medical decisions, medical information, financial assistance, and school records. Now, each area may require a different document or authorization. Now, one document alone does not necessarily solve every issue. For financial matters, perhaps it's a durable power of attorney. For medical decisions, it's a healthcare surrogate, or it's HIPAA if you need medical information. So the goal with your planning is to create a complete and coordinated plan. Let's talk about the medical documents. Well, like I mentioned, you have a healthcare surrogate, you have a HIPAA authorization, and you have a living will. What does the healthcare surrogate do? Well, as it says there, by definition, it's the person who makes medical decisions when your young adult cannot make those decisions. You've got the HIPAA authorization. Who's allowed to receive the protected medical information of the young adult? Then we have a living will. That is, it's a little bit more sensitive, but it does record what the student or young adult's wishes are regarding certain serious or end of life conditions. Now, the difference between receiving the information and making decisions, two completely different documents, two completely different um, instances when they would be used. But having these documents are very important because it does provide clarity to everyone, including the medical staff, during emergency matters. What's a durable power of attorney? Well, a durable power of attorney can assist with making financial and administrative matters. Think about it this way. You've paid your child's auto insurance since they were 16. Now they're on the policy. They're the policy holder. But you're still making those payments. Have you ever tried to call the insurance company to get information regarding your child's vehicle? It's pretty tough. So this could be instances when you would use it. Perhaps they have a bank account. Perhaps they have an apartment rent they have to pay or general bills. Perhaps they have insurance matters that they need to pay. or other time-sensitive responsibilities. So think of it this way. You're not taking away your child's independence whatsoever, but what you're doing is getting authorization and allowing you to assist them when they cannot. Now, let's talk for a moment about the school records and campus authorizations. Sure, you're paying the tuition, perhaps you're paying medical insurance on campus, but does that give you the protection you need or the protection for your student? Do you understand what the school's records release process is? Just because you're listed as an emergency contact information is one thing. Having the authorization to act could be something different. Check also with the school's authorized payer settings. A lot of this is done online. So check that out. Uh, Students may need to complete specific releases, give you certain billing permissions, or complete campus forms that are very similar to what a durable power of attorney or your healthcare documents provide. Now, how does planning help in real life? Well, let's walk through some common situations where the documents may be useful. Let's say there's an emergency room visit. Someone needs information, once again, making medical decisions for your young adult, your child. Let's say there's a longer hospital stay. Well, bills add up. You have to deal with health insurance companies. There's banking matters that have to be attended to. Let's say there's a school or an academic issue. Do you need to speak to their counselor? Do you need to speak to their financial advisor or even their academic advisor? What gives you the authority to do that? Perhaps they are interested in traveling abroad or studying at another university or out of the country. So there, once again, important documents have to be in place before they take that on. Maybe there's a major life change. The decision makers in their lives, as well as their contact information, may need to be updated. Perhaps they transfer schools. Maybe they take what they call a gap year. Whatever that is, the documents need to be updated. So emergencies, as you well know, are very stressful. And uncertainty about legal authority can only add to that stress and add more confusion to the situation. These documents help families identify who may receive information, who can make decisions, and handle urgent responsibilities. Now, as you're going through this and you're preparing your young adult, your student, what are some things that can help keep you organized? Well, you should each choose a primary and a backup decision maker. It's very important because if the primary is not available, who's the backup? How do we choose that person? Well, yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes you can think, well, I'm just going to name so and so because they're close. Well, just because they're a close family member, do you trust them? Do you trust that person with financial responsibilities of your child, of your young adult? Do you trust them enough to make medical decisions for that person? Make sure that your young adult, your student, understands what each document is before they sign. Do they know why they are signing this and the purpose of signing these documents? You want to make sure that you have the original document as well as printed copies and even a digital version. Why so many? Simple. Perhaps it's easy enough to upload the digital versions to the school website or to the student portal. Copies in case the medical facilities need the copies. And of course, always the originals. You also want to provide copies to those who have been entrusted with the decision making. Make sure the backup to the primary representative of your student or child has a copy. So they know that, hey, I'm the decision maker. I need to be aware of this. If I see a call, I need to be aware of this. Here's a question we get all the time, not only for regular estate planning, but also for our other families who plan with their young adults and their young students. How often should these documents be reviewed? Well, for a child, young adult, I would say annually. and certainly after major life events have changed for that person. You want to update addresses, telephone numbers, their representatives, and the emergency contacts as necessary. We live in a mobile society. People move around. You want to make sure that information is current. In closing, what are the next steps we need to take? Well, here's the main message. Preparation creates clarity when it matters most. Pathway law, we can help families understand the available documents, select or assist in selecting trusted decision makers. We can certainly prepare the appropriate authorizations for your young adult, your student to sign. And we can also plan for the signing, the storage, and the access to these documents. So we welcome the opportunity for you to contact our office with any questions or to schedule a consultation. The consultations, of course, are no charge. And once again, keep in mind, this presentation is a general educational presentation only. This is not individual legal advice. This is simply for information only. So I'm going to open up the floor now to any questions that anyone may have. Okay, here's a question. So if your child is attending school out of state, does the representative need to live in that same state? And the answer is no. They don't have to. If your child is going to school, say in North Carolina, and his backups are in Florida, is that acceptable? Yes, that is acceptable. They do not have to reside in the same state as your child or young adult is attending school. Question, when will my child need a will? Well, that's a very good question there. That gets asked quite a bit. Because your child has just turned 18, they don't have any assets, but as they continue to grow, a very basic will is encouraged, even though under the Florida law, those assets will go to the parents. If we're talking about a blended family and maybe there's some unique family dynamics, it never hurts to put a will in place for the young adult, the young child. Oh, it's a good one. So, how can parents start this conversation without making their child feel like they are losing their independence? Well, that's an excellent question. They're not losing their independence. In fact, what they're doing is they are proving their independence and they're proving their maturity by saying, look, if something happens to me, I want you, mom and dad, or you, mom, or you, dad, or whoever it is, I need you in place to help make decisions for me when I cannot, when I'm incapacitated. That shows a sign of maturity, a little bit more independence, that they have a trusting community surrounding them. So once again, we welcome the opportunity to speak with you for a free consultation with you and your young adult, your young child. Again, Pathway Law. We're located at 9100 Conroy Windermere Road in Windermere. Our office number is 407-792-6011. That's 407-792-6011. Cameron White, Pathway Law. Thanks again for attending, and we look forward to the opportunity to work with you. Take care.